with hay fever too much, like my colleague Liam O'Brien, who's also on the call today. Let's get started. Massive warm welcome. Let's do some introductions.
Too warm. It's too warm.
It is too warm. It is. Good morning, everybody. For those who don't know me, I'm Brad Martin. I'm a partner development manager here in the BizApps team at Ingram Micro. I've been in the industry for 20 years across all three Microsoft clouds. So modern work, Azure, and now landed into the BizApps space. I think when you do that, you kind of see the whole jigsaw piece come together, which is great. So I've worked for MSPs as well as an indirect. So I've had these conversations on both levels, so understand a lot of the challenges with D365 and a lot of solutions to navigate that and have that conversation. And we've gone with some fun facts for you this morning. I once got a question wrong on national television for £22,500. It was BBC's In It to Win It with Dale Winton, and I got the question wrong. And if we've got enough time later in the call, I might just share that question with you to see how you get on. But like I say,
I think you should definitely do that.
I'd like to introduce you to my partner, Liam.
I'm going to be doing all that ad hoc bits today, I think, and providing some interaction, hopefully. So my name is Liam O'Brien. I'm a partner development manager in the BizApps team at Ingram Micro Cloud. I've got 6 years in Microsoft Dynamics. Started off as a licensed specialist. Now I'm a partner development manager, helping our partners kind of maximize their Dynamics 365 and Power Apps estates. Before that, I was an electrician for 10 years. Still do private work, so if you've got any Saturday work, no, I'm only joking. But my wife makes me fix our lights and stuff, so that's as much as I do now. A fun fact, so when I ran Brighton Marathon, I stopped 5 times to have an ice cream, which was lovely because it was hotter than it was today. So I thought, I deserved it. So yeah, that's me.
I never saw Liz McColgan stop for 5 ice creams during that. Great. So I think this is your slide, Liam, I think.
It is, yeah. So just a bit about Ingram Micro. So who are we? We make it possible for today's doers, so yourselves, to move beyond their traditional roles and create their own expanding ecosystems of products and services by allowing them to create, market and consume an ever-increasing number of revolutionary solutions. So we've currently got 29,000 partners worldwide, 384,000 end customers with 23 million Office 365 seats.
Big numbers.
So just in case some of you are unaware, we wanted to just kind of skirt over what Dynamics 365 and the Power Platform is, although probably most of you know a little bit about it, otherwise you wouldn't have joined the webinar. But so Microsoft 365, Microsoft Dynamics 365 is cloud-based software application split into 2 parts, ERP or CRM. ERP is enterprise resource planning, where all of your finance and inventory management can be managed. And CRM is a customer relationship management functionality within Dynamics 365. So that's split across the whole product set, and but the 2 systems, or all of the systems, talk to each other, including Power Platform, which integrates Microsoft's PowerFX low-code language with things like Dynamics, Microsoft 365 and Azure, so you can build applications with low code and utilize things like Power Automate for automating workflows, and Power BI for your reporting. And as I said, all of it integrates seamlessly with the rest of the Microsoft 365 suite. We will go on go into a lot more detail on that in the following slides. Thanks, Brad. Yeah, so one thing, because Microsoft Dynamics 365 is still quite unknown really for a lot of the Microsoft MSPs, we still have to mention the competitors when kind of describing what Dynamics 365 does. So some of the competitive products to Dynamics 365 in the CRM space, you all know Salesforce, you probably all know Zoho, but some of the others are Pipedrive, HubSpot, which also do a marketing solution. Monday, there's adverts for Monday on the TV. And in the ERP space, so this would be Dynamics 365 Business Central or Finance and Operations. You're looking at products like Sage, QuickBooks and Xero in the main to compete against, and in the more enterprise space, NetSuite and SAP.
Yeah, I think this slide's so important because Microsoft don't do a great message, do they, Liam, of marketing to the end user. You don't see the Sage posters on the bus stops like you do, you know, with Business Central. Everybody knows what QuickBooks is and Xero from the radio adverts. So it's kind of up to us as the indirect and you as our partners and resellers to, you know, spread the good word and educate your customers what's out there, I think.
Yeah, I agree. It's annoying when you hear on TalkSport the QuickBooks adverts. I mean, TalkSport is annoying in general, but that makes it even more annoying. So some of the products within the Dynamics 365 suite, just as an example, so as I mentioned earlier, we've got Business Central there, which is the SMB part of enterprise resource planning. It mainly does your SMB finance solutions. Finance is another product altogether, which sits in the enterprise space. And as I said before, CRM, which is customer service and sales, and marketing sits in that suite as well, and the Power Platform, which does all of your Power Apps, your low-code solutions built on top of your Microsoft data, built on top of Dynamics data, actually. Other things you might have heard of, Customer Insights, which gives you an idea of web analytics for any customers that you might have within your own CRM environment. Forms Pro captures information on web portals or email. And Mixed Reality Apps, which is all of your HoloLens stuff that you might be kind of familiar with. The guys with the goggles. Apple released their own version last week. That is quite popular in the remote assist space. So that is the Dynamics product that allows remote access to Dynamics 365 if you are working practically in the service industry, like a plumber or an electrician or something like that. So that just gives you an idea of you know, all of the workloads that you can service through Dynamics 365.
Well, excellent. So we're going to
poll.
Yeah, a poll. Yeah, we're going to break this presentation up with a number of questions. So we're at our first poll question, and this is to obviously all the attendees on the call. And the question is, how familiar are you with business applications, specifically Microsoft business applications? So you should have some options there in the chat to choose from. If you could interact with that and let us know how familiar you are with them, it would really help us collate some data in this area. So I'm just going to give you 30 seconds to just ask that question, answer that question.
Yeah, I guess for accessibility purposes, I just read them out. So how familiar are you with Microsoft Business applications? Very familiar, somewhat familiar, or not familiar at all?
For real. Thank you, Liam. So I'm going to take over this next section, and we're going to talk about the opportunity of Dynamics 365 and why you should potentially not leave this on the table anymore and look to start selling it to your customer base. So I just want to talk about the objections first and foremost. Having worked for an MSP and having a lot of MSPs as partners of Ingram, we've kind of defined the objections into 6 different areas, and never implemented Dynamics 365 before. Why would you ever go to market with something that you've never implemented before? It's a pretty, safe comment from an MSP, and the lack of skill set in that area will obviously prevent them doing that. Now, through partnering with Ingram, we're going to help a lot of our MSPs skill up in specific areas, whether it's through build a practice or bringing in a partner to do some knowledge transfer. Your existing focuses will be in other areas. You're very successful as MSPs, so you will be very familiar in delivering email migration projects, document migration projects to SharePoint. The security is an ever-evolving service. It's never going to go away, so you're going to continue, again, utilizing the features within Business Premium of that conditional access, that two-factor authentication, and obviously endpoint antivirus through Windows Defender. So security is always going to be a focus. But what we're trying to say to MSPs is that once those big projects are done and your client base is largely in the cloud, what is the next thing what is the next revolutionary thing that is going to make you some money and going to be that topic of conversation to talk about? That's where we get really passionate in the Dynamics 365 department, because we obviously want to have that conversation with the MSP, say Dynamics 365 and the Power Platform is the next horse to back. This is the next boom, and we want to get you involved sooner rather than later, rather than other suppliers talking to your customers about it first. Understand that there's a risk involved whenever you're migrating. Let's use Sage as an example to Business Central. That's essentially a heart operation for a business. It's a really major thing. And a customer doesn't wake up one day and say, I'm going to change the heartbeat of my business. There's a lot of risk attached to that, and it's probably a once in a 10-year move that a customer will make. So we understand that you've probably not had these conversations, because it's a great risk to the business. Because if you mess up their ERP and you mess up their CRM, that's the core functionality of their business. So again, you could be sidelined on D365 because of risk. Sales teams are not ready and they're not trained up. Sales teams will be, at MSPs will be selling what they know and having conversations that in their comfort zone around M365, around security, around what laptop they need, all essential skills. But we are helping educate sales teams through Ingram on what to spot and what to look out for when you're talking to your customers, and what would be a good hook to Dynamics. Now, Dynamics is a very different sell to what an MSP is normally used to. And apologies to all of those who kind of take the consultative approach at the moment, but Dynamics really is a consultative approach. You're really getting under the skin of a business, talking about their business processes, and when a customer places an order, what does that process look like, and how do you get from order to invoice, and all the cogs that go on processes in the background, and you generally unlock a lot of pain and create a very good business case very early doors. And you tend to get higher up the chain as well, so you're talking to the senior management team and the directors of the business rather than IT managers. But I understand that sometimes you just don't know where to start. You need to be doing it, and this is a conversation I have every week with the MSPs of Ingram, Brad, where do we start with this? This is what we want to achieve. We've got opportunities in our customer base. How can we start extracting those and servicing them and getting some of the goodness? The addressable market is there. So these facts from the IDC just show you the sheer amount of addressable market that there is for these business applications. So I'd probably say a typical organization that has over 10 users is a good fit for Dynamics. We've worked a lot with our Dynamics 365 partners in the past in helping come up with off-the-shelf solutions to make it more palatable to the SMB market, to make it more in their price range. So that's no longer becoming a deterrent for a small business to look at Dynamics, because those off-the-shelf solutions are a lot more cost palatable. But the addressable market is there, and there's some mind-blowing figures there for you to look at, not just for ERP and CRM, but also for low code. And whenever you see the term low code, we're referring to the Power Platform. So just some momentum by numbers. For every competitive product out there sold, Dynamics is actually selling ×2 that amount. So that just gives you an idea of the trajectory that Dynamics 365 is on. And again, this is a horse we want to get on as soon as we can. Power Platform run rate is also growing year on year of 72%. For a lot of MSPs out there, they might have dabbled with some flows within SharePoint and maybe satisfying some very common business problems like maybe expenses or holiday requests, just with a few flows and approvals that you can kind of create using Microsoft Forms in SharePoint. Some of these features are actually present within Business Premium, so it was a good opportunity to have a play there. Power Platform just goes a little bit beyond that and gives you more greater capability. Dynamics 365 revenue is growing 31% year on year, and that figure is not slowing down at the moment. So the value of transacting Dynamics 365. The very first point here I want to make is that it's a horrible sales term and we can never get away from it, but it really does make your customers more sticky. A 25% reduction in customer churn, because once those Dynamics SKUs are within their portfolio, it makes it so much more difficult for them to kind of up and leave to another supplier and just switch their licenses, because those D365 licenses are linked to the support through the delivering partner and the reseller itself. So it's very, very difficult to pick that up and take somewhere else. So 25% in reduction in customer churn is something that I really want to focus on. Now, your customers, and again, having worked for an MSP, this is the frustrating element. 40% of your customer spend, they're spending on CRM and ERP solutions, whether it's Salesforce or Sage, they're spending that money in this area. And that typically is something that the MSP is not getting a slice of the cake on. And we want to help change that. And you'll know all too well, you'll get the problems on your service desk. Sage isn't working. Can you speak to Sage for us? Finger pointing starts, and Sage say it's the server that it's living on, etc., etc. So we just want to help, one, get your customer to the cloud using Microsoft SaaS apps with the likes of Business Central and Sales Enterprise. But we want to help you get some revenue share as well. So not only will you get licenses as part of that, and the next slide is going to talk about just how much profit you can make from a license, specifically on Business Central, but it's going to pull through collateral services. And one of those collateral services is Azure. So an example of that is a customer's been on Sage for the last 10 years. They moved to Business Central. They've got 10 years worth of data sitting on that server where Sage lives. So the customer doesn't want that server, taking up space in the office, potentially taking up energy. So a great way of increasing your Azure spend is to wrap that data up and stick it within cold storage or archive storage within Azure, maybe a pay-per-click, something nice and cheap. But it asks the question of the customer, right, okay, my ERP system's in the cloud now, what else can I put there? And it drives that Azure conversation. And again, that is creating more revenue for you as the MSP and the reseller. So the earning potential, we've given an example here based on an SMB with an opportunity of 7 users on a finance system. Now, a Business Central license is typically around £70 per user per month, depending on whether you kind of commit annually or monthly, thanks to the new NCE changes that we've just got our head around. Now, that typically is going to give you a revenue of £490 per month, but let's talk about the margins. So the margins of a Business Central license can be anywhere between 20 and 24%. Now, you just compare that to your Business Premium, Business Standard license. Already, you can see that that is a larger percentage of a larger SKU value. So off the bat, you're going to create more margin from the SKU. Microsoft also recognize it as an accelerated global product. So you're going to get more rebate on that product as well, delivered through your partner center. So again, typically 9.75% of that will come back to you as a rebate on your Dynamics licenses. Just to compare this and to make it a bit more understandable in MSP terms, you'd have to bring a customer of 30 Business Premium licenses just to gain the same amount of annual margin than you do for an opportunity of 7 users for Business Central. So I felt that was a bit serious, that bit. So let's have a question. Poll question number 2 is, have you previously sold business applications to your customers? And Liam, have you got the multiple choice answers?
Yes, I have. The question, oh, you've said the question, sorry. The answers are, yes, I have sold it successfully. Yes, I have sold it, but with challenges, or no, I have not sold it.
So have you ever sold Business Central or any of those licenses, Sales Enterprise, anything, Field Service, any of those names?
We're coming up with 71% who haven't sold it yet. So this next bit is where the pressure's on for me now. Too much pressure. Come on. Submit some yeses, guys.
So Liam, no pressure. How do you sell Dynamics 365?
Yes, so you're in the right place with Ingram Micro. We really want to get you to the stage, especially if you're an MSP, where hopefully you can be confident enough that you hear the words Dynamics or hear the words CRM and ERP, and you bring us in straight away. If not, then these are some options so that you can kind of have more of a what's the word? I guess more input into the deal, and yeah, more saying into how it ends and the options that we have for you transacting. So we have 3 options for you to sell business applications. The first is through the partner-to-partner program. Now, Ingram Micro Cloud have a bank of elite service providers who all specialize in delivering Dynamics 365 to end users. Now, those are available to our MSPs to, I don't want to say white label, but you partner together so that you can deliver those solutions to your customer. You keep the licensing because the customer is yours. You've bought the lead to us, you've bought the lead to the elite service provider. So the customer is still yours. You keep the licensing, but you get a percentage of professional services because you've bought that lead to the MSP. You then get a percentage of the so the license is on subscription, the support agreement is on a subscription basis as well, which you get a percentage of. Because you've got the licenses as well, you earn the Microsoft incentives, and it's the quickest route to earning because as I said earlier, all you're doing is listening out for the opportunity, bringing it to us, and hopefully Ingram Micro Cloud and our ESPs can do the rest. Some of the negatives, because we do want to be open and honest, you're introducing another partner to your customers, but that shouldn't make a difference, or I should say it shouldn't be a problem. Ingram Micro Cloud have all necessary contracts signed with our ESPs, so they are non-compete and they do have NDA signed. You can also draft your own NDAs with them as well to stop them going after your customers. But as I said, with this program, they can't, because we are in a program with them, basically. So another a negative is you're not reaching your full earning potential on services, and that's why the next option would be to build a practice. So building a practice, you get exactly the same. You keep the licenses, but you earn the professional services because you're a Dynamics 365 partner now, and those services are 7 times the licensing costs. You earn all the support agreement revenue, and you get to keep that support contract, which again is monthly. So that's recurring revenue. You earn incentives from Microsoft, and the customer has a single point of contact. Some of the negatives, very tough to recruit and retrain at the moment in the market. You need to invest, so you need to put a certain amount of people through a certain amount of exams for 3 things: support, administration, and architecture. There's a longer payback period because obviously you are waiting for your users to not your users, sorry, your staff to become trained before delivering a project, whereas with partner to partner you don't have to wait, and because of that there's a risk to customer satisfaction, because you might not have had experience with delivery, and your first couple of projects could go wrong, so there's a learning curve there. Next slide, please, Brad. So also one of the options is consequential licensing. Obviously, Ingram Micro Cloud are a Microsoft licensing provider. You might have purely transactional Dynamics 365 and Power Platform customers. We have the licensing expertise to understand the models and the agreements, so that if your customers already have Dynamics installed but they want to move their licenses elsewhere, then we can provide information on different editions, different user types, pricing structures. A lot of the licensing that some people have has changed, and you don't necessarily have to do an upgrade on those Dynamics 365 environments. Is just a licensing change. So when you're moving that customer over, or when you're winning that customer, we can give you guidance on choosing the right licensing options.
Yeah, really keeps us on our toes, that one.
It does.
So Liam, I've got a question for you and everyone on the call. What do all of these have in common?
Is it that none of the pairs have ever presented pointless?
Well, technically that is correct.
Yes.
I don't think John Travolta has ever presented on pointless. Ant and Dec, well, they might be close to it at the end of their careers, but you know, I'd love to see Will Smith on that podium. No, that isn't the answer.
Keep those pointless answers out of your mouth.
The answer, of course, is they're all great partnerships. So we can see Batman and Robin in there. the Blues Brothers, Anton Deck, who you never see on their own. We've got some Thelma and Louise and Sherlock and Watson there. So all of these make great partnerships. So we're really passionate at Ingram about the partner-to-partner network. It's what we do to help grow net new business for Microsoft and spot Dynamics opportunities and stop those customers going away buying those third-party applications that our MSPs generally struggle to accommodate and support. So what is in it for the MSP? So we've talked a lot about the value proposition up until now. The license revenue we've just covered off. Liam kindly mentioned the pro services margin, which you also get a chunk of. Once we have a few over the line, we can start creating some case studies for this and use the cookie cutter approach. And, this works really well if you have customers in specific industries, where that worked really well for that manufacturer. Let's do the same with this customer. And we sit down with our MSPs and we attack, forgive the sales cliche, but you can never get away from it, the low hanging fruit in their customer base. So we get our MSPs to do a report on, those users that are using Sage and, Sage that's on a server that's 4 to 5 years old, a customer that's going to come to the crossroads anytime soon and say, right, I don't think it's really right in 2023 to buy a new server with all the licensing, accommodate my backup, install Windows Server and Sage, and it just seems the wrong way to go. Especially coming out of the pandemic, it's taught us that we're a different workforce now. We need software as a service applications to be able to work from wherever we are. And a lot of competitors to Dynamics 365 aren't ahead of the game at all. And a lot of these users will use these legacy systems because it's all they've been used to, but there's a better way of doing it. And that's the help and education with go-to-market, account analysis, and also some of the great tools that we've got at Ingram. We've got a couple of slides that will just cover the impact program and the consult tool in a little bit more detail. But me, Liam, and the rest of the team are really passionate about spotting those opportunities within your customer base and helping you engage with them and kind of holding your hand moving forward. So it's not a solo journey. There's some comfort, and you've got the muscle of Ingram behind you on it. So 6 key messages. Why partner to partner? I know they say stick to the power of 3, but I couldn't keep it to 3. So increased license revenue, no brainer. Client-based protection, stop them from moving around, which ties into the anchorage. Stop them from moving their SKUs from provider to provider. And I get that NCE came in that stopped a lot of that, but it still happens. Specifically, we saw it recently with the 9% price increases from Microsoft. It drove that behavior again. So the anchorage of D365 is going to keep your customers there. This is the next big thing. This is the acorn that's going to grow into the oak tree. This is so topical at the moment. You saw Rishi Sunak at a tech summit recently, and he's talking about artificial intelligence. All of that ties into ChatGPT, Copilot. These are the next big things coming out from Microsoft. It's going to increase your Azure revenue. As I mentioned earlier, that's just a collateral thing that naturally happens. There's not too much selling that has to happen there. And as an MSP, it's difficult to be all things to all people. So it is better together through partnerships. And opposites really do attract when it comes to partner, because if you can partner with somebody that does the opposite services to you, you've got a P2P made in heaven there, because you have a lot of collaboration and leads you can pass backwards and forwards and keep that relationship going. Obviously, the partner's got to be right and share your values, which is very important. So when Liam and I allocate a lead, all of these factors come into play. Culture of organization, the markets that you service, whether it's SMB or whether you're looking at enterprise, we have a fit for just about every MSP out there. Now, Liam, was this yours or mine? I can't remember.
I think it's one of Microsoft's, but
I'm sure they'll be all right with the copyright.
Yeah, I think I'll start and we can kind of work on it together. So all of our ESPs, and I'm sure that there's going to be more conversation around this, and this is a webinar really for MSP opportunities. So we're not going to mention them by name, but know that they cover every application, as you can see there. So we have CRM experts, ERP experts, field service experts, business central only experts, every line of business, any scale, any geographical region, through our Dynamics 365 Centre of Excellence, which we have globally as well. And most of the ESPs, if not all now, actually, Brad, I don't know, have a Power Platform practice as well.
Correct. Yep. We've literally got you covered. There's nothing that's going to snooker us. So a really good slide, this one, because when we talked about sales people earlier, we want to be able to share a crib sheet with you for them to listen out for Dynamics opportunities. Now, we've come up with 8 key phrases that should be a hook and a eureka light bulb moment for a D365 conversation. Now, you might have heard a lot of these comments from customers in your day-to-day anyway, because a lot of them tie in with modern work. So too many manual processes, for instance. There's a lot of industries out there still writing on bits of paper, putting it in trays, waiting for somebody to pick that up and take it to the next person. Great conversation to have about the Power Platform and some of the flows and digital documents that you can create within that particular environment. Reporting is all over the place. So this is a big one. Now, I'm married to somebody in finance, and I hear firsthand that at night, it takes us 2 or 3 days to get a report out the system. That's not good. That's time in the business that you could be using to do something else. Customer might be in the same position as our MSPs that don't necessarily know where to start. They know that they've got a desire for a modern system, and they know that keeping servers in the cupboard is not necessarily the right thing to do. And they've got a desire for a modern system. So again, have that conversation and help them move forward with it. Outgrowing current technology, is a very common one, because you'll hit the ceiling. Xero and QuickBooks are very good products for what they do for the small business, but eventually the client will hit the ceiling with those because it requires a little bit more functionality or perhaps integration with the rest of 365 that doesn't exist natively within those products. So we'll need to help them move to Business Central. And the great thing about Business Central is that it grows with the customer. And once you're on that platform, you have 2 large updates a year. So you're always on the latest version, just like the rest of your SaaS apps with Microsoft 365. So it's essentially the last move you ever need to make when it comes to ERP, which is pretty attractive for the customer. They want to streamline their processes or licenses, both in that aspect. I think we're all guilty of having customers where they've got licenses all over the place, and they might have licenses that do the same thing. And there's a lot of crossover there between specific licenses. So we can really help them streamline licenses with the best in class from Microsoft, because they might have Sage subscriptions, they might have Sage support subscriptions, they might be using a third-party tool to help inject data into Sage also, and all of these workarounds to get the system to talk to each other. We can streamline that very easy with D365. Siloed systems, again, emphasizes that point. Too many customizations. If a customer's on an ERP solution that they have to upgrade every year to the latest version, those customizations will have to be done again, and that is more cost to the customer. And then quite a common one is we'll get a customer come to us and say, Brad, we've got an end user, their whole business runs off an Access 97 application that was written 20 years ago, and the bloke's retiring and they need to get off it quickly. Again, that's probably an extreme case, but systems do no longer become supported, and there is deadlines on that digital roadmap that you need to kind of get them off by, whether it's a lack of support or an end-of-life product. So we are on question 3. Would you like to leverage our partner-to-partner program and or build a practice? Would you like to learn a little bit more about it? And the options are?
You can do a poll again It's would you like to leverage our partner-to-partner program and/or build a practice? Yes, I am interested. Or no, leave me alone.
Don't believe that was.
No, I'm not interested.
Nice and easy.
We'll just wait for these to come through. Oh, 80% are saying, oh, it's going up.
Oh,
86% now. Wow. Okay, that's good. I'm hoping the 14% are the Ingram employees. Cool. So Brad's given us a bit of a lowdown on stuff to listen out for. I'm giving you these scoping questions here, and we're going to use Business Central as an example. But bear in mind, we do have scoping documentation for all other Dynamics products. And this is just so that possibly if you're going partner to partner or you're looking to build a practice, you can save a little bit of extra time to cut down on discovery and pre-sales for either yourself or, as I mentioned earlier, the delivery partner or the end user. And in doing this scoping, it's important to talk two main subjects: project drivers and project objectives. You don't have to mention these exact phases, and I am conscious of time. Technically, we've only got 2 minutes left, but this is being recorded, so if you need to leave, then I'm hoping that's okay. To wonder if it's not, then feel free to interrupt me and tell me to stop. But as I said, it's important to talk project drivers and objectives. So primary drivers you're looking out for when scoping: streamlining operations. So they'll say something like the primary driver for initiating the Business Central project is to streamline and improve our organization's operations. We want to consolidate our disparate systems, siloed data, and processes into a unified ERP solution that can effectively handle various business functions. Scalability and growth, another primary driver. So they're driven for the need for a scalable ERP solution. I'm just sort of going over what Brad's mentioned, but in a little bit more detail and what you might hear. So we need something that will provide us with the flexibility to add new users, functionalities, and support increasing transaction volumes as our company expands, and enhanced visibility and reporting is a huge one that we talk about all the time. And Power BI is a great gateway drug into the Dynamics stack. Yeah, one of their key drivers might be to gain better visibility into their own business processes and financial data, and they want their ERP solution to provide the real-time insights and customizable reports that their current system might not have, and various dashboards to support decisions so that they can kind of be data-driven decisions across the organizations. And Brad, I am conscious of time, so I'm just going to skip over these ones a sec. So when we're talking about objectives, it's usually they want improved efficiency, enhance their financial management, optimize what they've got in their inventory, to keep kind of costs down, to prevent them from buying more, giving them all of that kind of good data around that piece. Improve customer relationship management in Business Central. There is a small CRM capability to enhance CRM, centralizing customer data, which improves sales and marketing processes. And they want a scalable and adaptable solution, which we've talked over before. Yeah, so definitely worth mentioning this. At the moment, Ingram Micro Cloud through your own MSP's Cloud Ascent data, which Microsoft have collated through algorithms to calculate which of your clients are ready to buy Dynamics 365, and that this data is kind of readily available to you through Ingram Micro Cloud. We have the option to provide MCI workshops to your partners. MCI stands for, Brad.
I knew you'd try and trip me up. Yeah, good question. I'm sure, yeah.
Basically, we want you to engage with us and Microsoft to see which customers are best fit for Dynamics 365, to see if you're missing out on any opportunities. And we will run workshops with your end users for free of charge to go through all of those scoping questions that myself and Brad spoke about in the two previous slides, and we will then help you manage that opportunity in the traditional partner-to-partner fashion, as again we've spoken about before.
Yep. So as Liam said, that data is available. So if you are a partner of Ingram already and you transact through us, we will have some data from Microsoft on that. So if you would like us to share that with you, please get in contact with us.
Cool. I've got a big part to say about this because it's great. It's Ingram Micro's consultative selling tool. I want to give you a demo of this if possible. We won't do it now because we are short on time. Basically, it's a consultative selling tool which is completely product agnostic, and it can guide you through due diligence processes necessary to understand external pressures, identify SKUs, and address your customer needs. You can explore the challenges that arise as a business grows from startup to maturity through three critical experiences. So customer experience, supplier and partner experience, and employee experience. And if you're exploring sales opportunities in new sectors, you can click on things like business drivers. It will give you really great insights into what drives businesses to change their processes and the competitive landscape, which we've spoken about before. Now, as I said, because it's product agnostic, you can use this across your whole cloud offering, really. You can break down and demystify the technical intricacies that your customers might have, address any questions that might arise through consultative selling, and create and craft a customized solution for your customers after using this tool. We are, through Ingram Micro's new Xvantage platform, planning to have this also include hardware services as well as software. So your salespeople can use this to skillfully combine a blend of hardware, software, services, and integration solutions to address those gaps in your end users' technology and turn the projects around faster and more efficiently because of that. So I'll leave that there because I could talk about it all day, but I want to really give you a demo on this. So please let us know if you'd like a demo. It's you can email myself or Brad or bizappsuk@ingrammicro.com. That's correct. Yeah, cool. So just want to mention training for anyone looking to build a practice or acquire more knowledge around Dynamics and Power Platform for utilizing partner to partner. At the moment, we've got 3 courses available for Dynamics Fundamentals and Power Platform Functional Consultants. So the MB910, which is Dynamics 365 Fundamentals, offers a range of valuable benefits. It serves as a sort of comprehensive introduction to the customer engagement suite for Dynamics 365, covering all of the customer engagement apps, including marketing, sales, customer service, field service, projects, operations as well, but only the customer relationship management capabilities of that. And by completing the course, you'll become sort of well versed in the functionalities and features of the application, so you can listen out for more opportunity within your end users. The other one we have available is the Power Platform Functional Consultant course, which is an overview of the 4 essential products in Power Platform, so Power Apps, Power Automate, Power BI, and Power Virtual Agents. Also gives you some Dataverse topics in there, AI Builder, which you know, a lot of people are interested in AI at the moment, as Brad said. Premium connectors and the new Power Pages, which is the Power Apps portals, which is websites that you can build for your customers. That's more of a technical course, so it equips you with knowledge and skills to become proficient in all of those products, and do all of the discovery, requirement capture, stakeholder engagement, and most importantly, solution configuration on the Power Platform. So if you're interested in those 3 courses, you can find it on our website, but again, come to us and we'll send you the registration link and make sure that you're all registered and ready to go. Is there a deadline on those? I can't remember. Is it the end of June?
Yes. So I think the registration might actually be closed now for the PL 200, but I think we might have had a few that we could squeeze in. So
okay, all right. Yeah, let us know, because they might come up again as well, and your names will be first on the list for those training exercises.
Yep. Definitely. Thanks, Liam. So I'm just going to finish the presentation by talking about building a practice. And Liam went through and articulated the benefits and the pros and cons, actually, of building a practice. But again, just to give you the comfort that we are helping some of our customers build a practice at the moment. So whether you are a practice that are delivering a different solution at the moment, be it Sage or NetSuite, and you want to diversify and say, do you know what? This application doesn't really fit my my company vision, you know, with selling the rest of Microsoft products, and they want to diversify and sell Business Central or sell CRM. We help them with that transition and see what that looks like. And it's very, very different partner to partner. So we will kind of give you that consultative approach. All of those courses Liam mentioned there are going to set you on your way in terms of knowledge. So the Flight Academy, the Ingram Micro Cloud Consult Tool, and finally, we have a list of impact courses. Now, these impact courses are actually in their 2nd cohort now that are starting next month. We have 3 specifically focused in the Dynamics 365 areas. And then we have a strategy for business leader course, which is very popular. Not necessarily Dynamics focus on this one, but more a train the trainer approach. So if you're in charge of sales teams and you obviously need to dictate to your team a strategy, this course is for you. That's delivered by Neural Impact, who are absolutely fantastic. Martin Stewart over there, you know, a lot of his sessions, businesses, customers of ours have actually adopted the strategy that he's dictated and have become very successful. So that 6-week course really is highly recommended. And then if you want to get and dive deeper into Dynamics 365, we've got Power Platform selling courses, we've got sales and marketing strategy creation, and we've also got the mini sales MBA for Dynamics 365, who I was a member of in the last cohort, which was absolutely fantastic. And I actually passed my MB 910 as a result of that. that course. So highly recommended. These are again available through Ingram Micro. Let us know if you want to be included, or talk in a little bit more detail about what you can get out of the program. So we just want to finish up with a few things. We just want to kind of give you an idea and essentially flex our muscles really when it comes to the resource that we've got within Ingram Micro. As Liam mentioned right at the top of the call, we are a global organization. We have a center of excellence across the globe. Just yesterday, I was asked for licenses on for the Cayman Islands. You know, who does that fall under? But with our center of excellence team, we've got somebody in that locale who can service that and license that. So if we don't know the answer, our team around the globe will, and we're connected. We have weekly calls with our North American counterparts, as well as counterparts from Europe. Obviously, we can't follow the sun around the globe. We do have to rest from time to time, but just to give you an idea, we've got all the certifications. We've got knowledge in just about every area when it comes to this. We've got the programs, we've got the platform, we've got the partners in you. We just need to accelerate this P2P and start getting you a chunk of the pie. So we're going to leave you with a video. You may have heard of Copilot being mentioned before. And I just wanted to give you a quick 1-minute video on my Microsoft Dynamics 365 Copilot, because the future is Dynamics 365, and this is the cool stuff that's coming.
9 out of 10 workers said that automation and AI-powered tools would help them focus on meaningful work. Introducing Microsoft Dynamics 365 Copilot, AI-powered assistance to get more done with less effort and take on the tasks that keep you from the work that matters. From summarizing meeting notes, complete with action items and follow-up dates, to helping you get started with emails and content, whether you're a seller following up with a proposal, a marketer promoting a new product, or a service agent providing world-class customer support. Copilot is there when you need it to suggest responses, documents, and ideas in the moment, and get help just by asking in a conversational way. Copilot features can help write a compelling product description for online stores, or help find the right audience simply by typing who they want to reach. Copilot can even help with your supply chain by predicting risks before they become a problem and provide clear steps to take action. Copilot is built into Dynamics 365 using artificial intelligence developed responsibly by Microsoft, empowering employees to deliver better customer experiences and drive efficiency across the organization. Dynamics 365 Copilot, the world's first AI copilot in both CRM and ERP.
Okay, very cool. Very cool. We don't want to see it again. Thank you. So we're going to leave you with the last question, and then we're going to open the floor to any other questions. I know that we've ran over a little bit today, but I think it was really important not to rush any of the content, because we want to fully articulate the value of Dynamics 365, and obviously all of the all of the layers of the onion, I suppose, that go with it. So the last question is, would you be interested up in a follow-up session to explore implementing Dynamics 365 in your business? When we say in your business, we mean obviously to look at targeting your customer base. But that does pose another great point, that drink your own champagne. If you have, if you're looking at any internal changes in your own ERP system or CRM system, what a great way to start with Dynamics. And then obviously you can articulate the value of that a lot better to your customers, because you use it day to day, which I find, a really helpful way of approaching things. Liam, what are the multiple choice answers on this one?
Yeah, that's a really good point, Brad. So yeah, the question is, are you interested in a follow-up session to explore either implementing Dynamics 365 in your business or selling it to your end users? Simple, yes or no, please.
Anyone who signs up for further time with me and Liam must be crazy. Only kidding.
I have got some questions as well, Brad.
Oh, have you? Okay. Well, you read my mind. Any questions?
Some that have come in. So, do you get any Dynamics or Power Apps licenses with Microsoft 365 licenses?
That is a good question. I think I covered this during the presentation, that you do get limited amounts of free licenses when it comes to creating forms and flows, but it is limited. It is limited, and it will have certain limitations. So yeah,
it's mainly viewing rights, isn't it? In anything, if you've got Microsoft 365 Business Premium or above up to E5, you get simple. So they call them standard connectors, not premium connectors. Correct. Microsoft Power Automate, a little bit of Power BI, but that data that you're building those flows and dashboards on all has to be within the Office 365 environment that you're using the data from. So that doesn't include Azure, SharePoint only on that. So there are some free licenses, and I think that leads to the next question, actually. What are the entry-level products in the Dynamics stack? So start with exploring what they've already got in their Business Premium E5 licenses, and see if you can build some professional services around those licenses they already have. 9 times out of 10, they're going to need the premium connectors to connect to external data sources, and that's when you got yourself Dynamics or Power Platform licensing and a nice little project.
Yeah, it's probably one of the most common licenses we see within an MSP customer base, the Power BI.
Power BI, yeah.
Yeah, you articulated it really well earlier, Liam. And I love a phrase that they use at Microsoft, where it's data rich, insight poor, which I think a lot of our customers are. And once a Power BI solution is deployed, they can make better real-time decisions based on the data, rather than not having any clue where they're going wrong or who they're selling to in what area. And so yeah, those SKUs are quite entry level. Entry level on an ERP perspective, well, Business Central can service just one user. That's how flexible the platform is, right up to a big ceiling. It's a very big ceiling before you get into finance and operations territory. So Business Central really can just service one user, and like I say, for 60-70 pound a month, that will service them. And there's also watered down licenses as well that again give the team functionality, limited functionality. But yeah, we'd love to explore that in a bit more detail if you wanted a one-on-one session.
Yeah, and there's one more question. Is there a user difference between Business Central and Dynamics 365 for finance? As in, I guess that means user count. Like, where would you pitch one over the other? Obviously, Business Central is the SMB solution and finance is the enterprise. So yeah, I guess that's what it's referring to.
Yeah, and it's 20. It's a minimum order of 20, isn't it, as well for F&O?
Yeah, that's a good point. Yeah, but that's not to say Business Central can't do anything over 20 at all.
No, no.
It's more about the workload and the industry, I guess.
Absolutely. Yeah, you kind of see finance and operations, again, if we're using a comparative model to other solutions out there at the SAP level. So we know how much of a beast SAP is. If a client's operating on SAP, that is generally finance and operations territory. And Microsoft love a name change because, we know Business Central from its former name, Microsoft Navision, which was the on-premise version. And obviously, finance and operations is born out of what used to be AX. So again, that kind of terminology can confuse you in the Microsoft world sometimes. But
yeah, so I guess to answer that is there's no real difference. I mean, apart from the 20-seat minimum on finance, it's more about scalability and workload. Business Central can go up to 100 users if you want, if it fits the solution. So yeah, guess that's the answer.
Any more questions, Your Honour?
Let me check. Oh, Tawanda said, please can you finish by 12? It's 7 minutes past. We missed that one, Tawanda, sorry.
Is he hungry? Okay, all right. Well, I'd like to take this opportunity to thank you all for attending today's call, and we really hope that you've learned something about Dynamics 365 and give you an insight into, one, our day-to-day work that we do with our partners, and two, what the future looks like. But if we could give you any advice, it would be please have a look at it and talk to us in a bit more detail, and we'll help you on that journey.
Yeah, great. Thanks very much, guys. I've got one last question from Sean. How will you be sharing the recording of this session? We will send an email out. The marketing team will send an email out with a link.
Yep.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.